If you've been scaling up your physical production, you've probably hit a deeply frustrating wall. You are making more items than ever, but packing for events has become absolute chaos, and your sales have mysteriously plateaued. There is a common trap here. It is easy to believe that simply manufacturing more inventory automatically guarantees more revenue. But a vendor booth isn't an infinite void. It has a strict carrying capacity. You have to treat that booth like a highly restrictive budget. Not a budget of money, but a hard limit on physical space, setup time, and customer attention. As makers, it feels psychologically comforting to pack absolutely every product we own, just in case someone asks for it. But that comfort creates an operational nightmare when you actually try to physically move, stage, and manage all of that stuff on a tiny table. The reality is that generating a mountain of product does not generate a mountain of cash if your business physically cannot handle what it creates. Let's say you decide to bring every single color and variation of a product to your next event, hoping to capture every possible niche buyer who walks by. In theory, this makes sense. Offering maximum choice can initially help you cast a wider net and pick up a few extra sales. But there is a hidden cost. Eventually, all those options turn into visual clutter. The customer gets overwhelmed, and decision fatigue sets in. This chart shows exactly how that trade-off works. We are tracking inventory volume on the bottom axis against customer conversion on the side. Initially, adding inventory increases sales, but at a breaking point, choice becomes a liability. The graph plunges straight into clutter and confusion, repelling buyers. Beyond that threshold, cramming more products onto the table actively degrades the visual impact of your best sellers and ultimately costs you money. To fix this, we have to look past the front-end sales table and examine the back end of your operations. Specifically, a 6-step process that every physical product has to survive. We call this the capacity chain: make, store, organize, display, sell, replenish. Most growing businesses invest heavily at the start, spending capital on dozens of new 3D printers. The immediate result is exactly what you would expect. You rapidly generate thousands of finished goods. But here is the problem. If you ramp up production without upgrading your logistics to match, those extra items will completely crush the rest of your chain. We call this unusable capacity. If you lack the physical space to stage, organize, and restock a new product line, that extra manufacturing power provides absolutely zero return on your investment. The hard rule is that your real production capacity is never determined by your fastest machine. It is dictated entirely by the weakest organizational link in your chain. You can fix those broken links by moving to a system called modular curation. A module is simply a self-contained grouping items. Think of a core bestseller module. It includes the specific inventory, dedicated backstock, displays, and pricing signage. Instead of tearing your hair out packing a booth from scratch the night before every single event, you pre-build these complete modules during your downtime. This drastically reduces the physical time it takes to pack your vehicle, and it completely eliminates the decision fatigue of figuring out what to bring at the last minute. It does require a trade-off. You have to spend upfront capital on redundant display stands and signage so that each module can truly operate independently. There is a psychological cost, too. You have to force yourself to intentionally leave perfectly good, sellable inventory sitting back at the warehouse. But sacrificing the comfort of bringing every last item buys back critical setup speed. It ensures that when you do set up, your brand looks clean, coherent, and professional. Once you have your modules built, you can mix and match them based entirely on the specific demographics of your next event. This decision tree shows how filtering works. Instead of asking what individual items to pack, you ask what event you are attending: a family festival, nerd convention, or holiday market. Depending on the answer, you load different operational blocks. The result is a highly targeted, visually optimized shopping experience that is specifically calibrated to convert that exact audience. By curating this heavily, you will occasionally miss out on a random, one-off sale to an outlier customer asking for an item you left at home. That is going to happen, but you have to shift your mindset. The warehouse holds your entire universe of products. The event only gets a carefully curated episode. How you handle these logistical trade-offs depends entirely on the current size and maturity of your business. We can map your next best move using this simple matrix. It breaks down the core constraints and next steps for both beginners and scaling makers. Let's look at the beginner or hobbyist first. They are usually constrained by small vehicles and tight budgets, making their lack of physical space the main bottleneck. If you are in this stage, stop trying to be everything to everyone. Use your lack of space as an advantage. Curate heavily and focus your limited table space purely on your proven bestsellers. Now look at the scaling maker. They are drowning in inventory, but watching their daily event revenue flatline. If this is you, halt your equipment purchases immediately. Redirect that capital away from manufacturing and into warehouse shelving, standardized transport bins, and better back-end staging areas. Different growth stages demand different solutions. You have to identify which specific logistical bottleneck is holding back your next level of revenue. The maturity of a maker business is not defined by how much plastic you can balance on a 6-foot folding table. Long-term growth requires the discipline to actively limit your on-site variety so you can protect the visual impact of your brand. We need to completely reframe how we think about capacity. Those boring, non-producing assets, warehouse shelves, storage racks, and plastic bins, are just as critical to making money as your actual 3D printers. Before you spend another dollar trying to produce more items, take a hard look at your entire chain of operation and find your true weakest link. Your true carrying capacity is only reached when your operational organization finally matches your manufacturing ambition.